How you doing, everybody, and welcome to NinjaToons, where the martial arts meets the creative arts. I'm Michael Vu, the Art Ninja, and today is Walk-Thru Wednesday, how to draw Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow! All right, everybody, so for the first week of Speedster September, we drew Vanellope von Schweetz. For the second week, we drew Sonic the Hedgehog, and if you haven't seen those videos, after this one, make sure you race on over there and watch those videos. Now for week 3, we're gonna be drawing Lightning McQueen. So Lightning McQueen starts with the letter L. So we're gonna use the letter L to start our sketch. We're gonna draw this letter L toward the bottom half of the page, just like this. Remember to sketch lightly and loosely. After we've drawn this L shape, we're gonna draw the wheel well of Lightning McQueen. And then we're gonna continue on to the front bumper. And then we're gonna draw the other side here of his fender. There we go. Now, if you didn't know, I don't normally draw cars. So this is something even new for the Art Ninja, and I wanted to share that with you because Lightning McQueen is pretty darn fast, and it fits for Speedster September. We also had a few requests. So some people commented in the section below about drawing vehicles. So I thought, let's do it. So Lightning McQueen was a perfect fit. Now we're gonna use our C curves to draw the other fender and his hood. Sketching very lightly, using our C curves. So the next step is we're gonna draw the spoiler, and then we're gonna come up and draw the cabin. So when you draw the cabin here on Lightning, make sure that C curve comes over and it's where the fender and the hood meet. So far that's looking pretty good. Next we're gonna draw the other wheel well. That's gonna come across the back here, using our C curve. So now that we have Lightning McQueen's main body in place, let's put in his tires. Now we're gonna draw his tires off to the side a little bit. So watch how I do this C curve here, okay? He's skidding into the scene. And we'll bring his other tire here off to the other side. And give his tire some thickness. Just like that. And then his bumper is gonna curve down a little bit. So we're gonna have a C curve that comes across the front like this. For his back tire, those don't turn. So we're gonna keep them as this oval. Put in the bottom of his tire, and then give it some thickness at the top and bottom. All right, so far so good. Next, we're gonna draw in the hubcaps. So we're gonna give Lightning here part of his hubcap, and then the inside here. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now let's put in Lightning McQueen's eyes. So that would be the windshield and the side windows. And of course he has that charismatic smile. Looking right over his fender here. And let's give him one eyebrow up. And then it dips down a little bit, and then it's gonna come across. Now along the way, you may see me do some adjusting, and that's why I tell you it's important to sketch, not carve, as we talked about a few weeks ago. If you haven't seen that video, you can jump on over to that at the end of this one as well. We're going to draw his side windows. And then he also has his back fender that comes across like this. Spoiler. And you can see how, as I'm darkening the lines now, I'm seeing that the lines are where I want them to be, and so I'm trying to add more weight or darkness as I refine my drawing. This is one of the things we learned about in our 2-minute tip Tuesday, how to clean up your cleanup, is the thickness of our lines. So we're sketching it, but you can see as I get a little bit darker, I'm more confident with where I'm placing my lines. Let's put on his hood. So we're gonna come across here like this, put on his hood, and then right underneath his hood are his headlights. So his headlights are more of a triangle shape. What we do to one side, we want to do to the other. So on this side, to keep our symmetry, we want our headlights on both sides. And then we're going to give him his smile. So his smile comes down like this. And then we're going to give him a little bit of an open mouth. Okay, put in his mouth right here. And then his teeth. Put in his eyes, he's looking at us. Give him a little bit of his eyeball right here. And he has his side windows. So looking at this drawing right here, I wanted to add now his lightning bolt, some details. And then of course, his signature 95. So I wanted to give you a little tip about how to draw block numbers. So check this out. I want you to create, we're doing this in perspective because Lightning's going backwards in the distance. The front nose of his car is closer to us. So draw these two blocks, and then inside that, you're gonna draw your number. So if we zoom in, watch how I do this. I'm still keeping this line with the top and bottom. Give it a little bit of a thickness, and this is the number 9. And then for the 5, I'm keeping parallel lines with the top and bottom. See that right there? And then you can just round out the corners. And you have right here the 9. Boom. Ka-chow! All right, there's our 95. Doesn't that look great? Let's keep going. On Lightning McQueen's hood, we have rusties, right? And the last thing we're gonna need is his exhaust. So right underneath the 95, we're gonna draw 2 ovals. See that right there? And then his exhaust system is underneath. So what happens is, this is gonna come down to his wheel well. It was very aerodynamic. And then this is going to come across just like that. All right. For some additional details, I added in his rims just an extra little detail. And then on his tires, it's Lightyear tires, but we don't need to go into all that detail. All right. So now we finished our sketch step, we're gonna move on to our cleanup. So another thing about cleaning up your drawings is you do wanna make sure that you're in a comfortable position. And that's your bonus tip number 4 from what you learned on 2 Minute Tuesday. So what I mean by being comfortable is notice how I'm gonna turn my canvas. Now, if you're working with paper, you just turn your paper. But watch this. What I wanna do is I wanna draw this line right here on his fender. And it would be awkward for me to kind of bring it across like this. So I wanna be in a more comfortable position. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slide my hand across the canvas like that. And during your cleanup, it's okay to erase. Right, so I'm just gonna bring that in there like this. I'm gonna do the same thing with his hood. Remember, I'm pulling my pencil across the canvas, and then the same thing here with his other fender. Trying to get a nice, smooth line. I'm gonna do the same thing with his fender. See, I'm just pulling it. And then I'm gonna go this way, and I'm gonna pull down toward me. Now when I do this, I'm looking at where I'm starting, and my eye is pointed toward where I want to finish. So go ahead and watch this time lapse of how I do the cleanup on Lightning McQueen, and I'll catch you at the end of that step. So that finishes our cleanup step. Hopefully you got a chance to practice cleaning up your cleanup through this process. And now we'll move on to the 5th step, which is color. We'll go and give Lightning McQueen his bright fire red. And remember, I taught you in a previous lesson, sketch your color lines in, moving all in the same direction for uniformity. It's important that you start coloring lightly just like you do when you sketch, because that allows you to add shadows later by pressing harder. Now I'm going to finish coloring Lightning McQueen with our flat colors, and I'll catch you in a little bit. One thing you may notice while I'm coloring is that I'm working from left to right. Now, if you're a right-handed colorist, I'm starting on the left hand as I come across my drawing. And the reason I do that is so that I'm not rubbing my arm across all the color as I go from right to left. So if you're a left-handed artist, you may want to start off starting on the right side and color toward the left, pulling the colors toward you as you keep your pencil strokes all in the same direction. Can you see now why it's important to stretch before you draw? Let's keep going. So step 1 of coloring is putting in our flat colors. Step 2 is putting in your shadows and highlights. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about in putting in your shadows is something called cross-hatching. Now, if you saw me when I was coloring the flats, I was coloring all in the same direction. Cross-hatching allows you to get a darker value, but you're coloring now in another direction. So now, see what I'm doing here? I'm crossing in the opposite direction of what I was coloring before. And when you combine that with pressing a little bit harder, see how it fades just like this? So this is called cross-hatching. And if I want all the bottom part of his fender to be in shadow, I'm going to apply this cross-hatching to wherever I want the values to be darker. As you're watching me color, you may wonder, how do I know where to apply the shadows? What I really want to think about is, where is my light source? So I know that the sun is coming from the top of Lightning McQueen, so most of the shadows are going to be on the bottom half of his shell. Now, another type of shadow is called a cast shadow. A cast shadow is something that you would find your shadow maybe on the ground around you. Your body is casting a shadow on the ground. So with Lightning McQueen, with the sun hitting his shell, it could cast a shadow on things like his wheels. Now, the last thing I wanted to address are highlights. Now, because Lightning McQueen likes to shine, when the sun hits him in certain parts of his shell, like on his fender or his spoiler, it'll be a lot brighter in those areas. So there's two ways that I've shown this today. The first one is if you look here above his eyelid, I didn't color that in with red. Now, another way you can do that, depending on the type of colored pencils you're using, if you have erasable colored pencils, is you can use the eraser to carve out a highlight on his fender. and that's Walk-Thru Wednesday's How to Draw Lightning McQueen. If you like this video, make sure you strike that like button. If you're not a subscriber yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment in the section below. What kind of speedster would you like the ArtNinja to draw next? We're always looking for feedback. Until next time, guys, remember your ABCs, always be creating, make it a great day, and stay tuned for more videos. Arigato.